Even families on moderate incomes would have fish and beans as well as onions, cheeses and garlic on the table at mealtimes. The wine of 5th century Greece had a high alcohol content, so it was served diluted, 1 part wine to 5 parts water. The mixing was done in large bowls, and flavourings such as thyme, mint and cinnamon were sometimes added. Outside the home, drinking provided a crucial social bond, particularly at the symposium. The word symposium literally means to drink together. Wives were not permitted to attend the symposium, but there were women in attendance. They were courtesans, beautiful, educated young women whose skills included dancing, music, and the reciting of comic and erotic poetry. Prostitution was so important in Athens, the great lawgiver Solon included provision for it in his legislation. The trade was concentrated in Keramaikos, the area by the Dipylon Gate, one of the most important access points to the city. The district was also famous for the thousands of craftsmen who produced beautiful pottery decorated with characteristic black and red figures. This fine pottery was traded throughout the ancient world. Pottery production was a key component of the economic life of Athens. Potteries and kilns worked round the clock. A thriving ceramics industry signalled a prosperous society. In large measure, the life of the city depended on what went on inside the Dipylon Gate. In another part of the city, the Agora with its stoa was a major centre of local trade. Built in the 2nd century BC, it became another living link to the past when it was fully rebuilt in 1953. Today, it's the prestigious home of the Agora Museum. The Stoa, originally a building with great colonnades, not only housed a 2-story shopping centre, but was also the place where many of the great philosophers of Athens gave their lectures. There were only male philosophers, and only men were allowed to attend the lectures. Women were believed to be incapable of rational thought, and we know very little about their lives. The only words women themselves could leave us were written on their gravestones. At the centre of the Agora stood the Tholos Prytania, erected during the 5th century BC. This is where the Senate assembled to debate the issues of the day, pass laws, decide which rival states to make alliances with, and which to attack. It was here the Senate considered whether Socrates should be put to death for preaching sedition. The senators were able to continue their sessions far into the night because beds were brought in for them. The Physion dominated the entire area. It was built during the time of Pericles and remains in remarkably good condition. In part, this is because of its conversion in the 5th century AD to a Christian church dedicated to St. George. It has 6 columns on the facade and 13 on each side. The building's conversion to Christianity did not produce a ban on tableaux celebrating pagan heroes like Theseus and Hercules. There used to be a sacred area dedicated to the most powerful Greek gods where this underpass is now. The site was considered the geographical centre of Athens. All distances were measured from an altar that stood here, just as in London the city is centred on Charing Cross. Workers constructing the underpass found some fragments which, together with contemporary accounts, have allowed archaeologists to envisage the site as it was then. The altar was surrounded by a low square wall. Drinking fountains were situated at the 2 entrances for visitors to quench their thirst. The small altar was in the centre. Further on is the Stoa of Zeus Eleftherios, another place where Socrates and Plato developed the ideas which would determine the course of all Western philosophy. Today, the city authorities are assessing the feasibility of a project to restore the site. In a sense, vast reaches of time are condensed in a place like Athens, the bustling present and the distant past coexisting as one. Athens, which survived the Persians and the plague and all the assaults that followed. Athens, the stage for endless human drama, thousands of years connected by the same concerns of countless anonymous human beings. Mothers sending their children out into the uncertainties of an ever-changing world. Athens, the city of the greatest philosophers and artists, extraordinary people. Athens, favored by the gods and cherished by time.